Hey, hello, how's it going? Jerry Ab fam, or future Jerry, whenever you're listening to this, I'm sure you are sometime in the near future, or not the near future, but the distant future, Because this channel is always supposed to be like a sort of diary that I could revisit like way back when I'm old as fuck and I play all these games and I can, have my dementia-ridden mind and whatever nursing home I'm in, just relive these fond memories of doing these games. Anyways, what's up, future Jerry? How are you? How's it going? I'm sure your life turned out exactly how you wanted it to. Anyways, yeah, guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Jerry App. I honestly didn't think I would finish this game that soon to make another episode. I was just looking at my YouTube channel here, and yeah, the Animal Crossing episode was 2 weeks ago, so I did not think I grinded this game this hard, but apparently I did. So yeah, guys, for episode number 40 whole episodes, holy shit. But yeah, episode 40, we are talking Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. This absolute gem released October 27th, 2017, man. So it's a little under a decade old, and it's pretty good, man. I didn't think I would have this much fun with this game, but I literally collected every single Power Moon, not the ones you have to buy at the end to get the stupid 999, but all of the 880, like, what do you call them? Like the legendary ones, not the legendary ones, but like I don't know what to call them, man. Like the legacy ones, not the legacy. What word am I looking for here, man? The unique ones. That's what it is. The unique Power Moons, not the ones you buy from the shops at the end of the game just to get the stupid silly number. But yeah, man, I have been loving this game. If you don't know, I explained it in the last episode, but I've been playing, kind of in-queue games here to play during Overwatch because I'm a big Overwatch head. I love that game so much. I'm going to talk about it every single episode. But yeah, I've been playing Stadium. Zenyatta just released in Stadium this season on Season 17, and he's been very, very fun. But the support queue times have been brutal, like anywhere from between 10 to like 20, 25 minutes sometimes. It's been brutal. So I've been trying to find games in queue to just play that you can pick up and put down really quickly without having to get too invested. So that's exactly what Super Mario Odyssey was for me, man. And I did play this game originally just a little bit, like years ago. I never had a Switch on release, but I did get a Switch Lite a few years down the road whenever those came out. And then I played a few games every now and then, but I never really took them too seriously. And Mario Odyssey was one of those games. My Switch says I have 75 total hours on it, so I like to think maybe 10 of those were from like when I played it the first time around, and I didn't really get that far. I think the first time I played it around, I got to the Lake Kingdom before I stopped playing, and that's like the third kingdom, I think. So didn't get too far, didn't really get too invested. And this time around, I was going to just get to the final boss or get to just the end of the story or whatever, and then call it quits. But I actually ended up loving this game so much that I genuinely, like, this doesn't happen with me very often, but I genuinely wanted to go for the rest of the Power Moons just because I liked exploring. I liked getting the purple coins. I liked, finding the Power Moons. I liked, the puzzleness of it because I'm a huge puzzle head. I love, brain teasers, all that shit. So, stuff that makes you just think and wonder a little bit. I enjoy that. So, it was right up my alley for that. And, I had time to burn because I was in queue. I'm in queue right now for a Stadium game as I record this. And I kind of just been recording them like this ever since. And it's a great way to, burn that time. Not burning time, but rather using that time that I would be spending doing nothing rather productively, if I do say so myself. So yeah, Super Mario Odyssey, or actually, I'm just going to call it SMO for sure, the abbreviation. So let's call it SMO. That sounds like a good idea. So SMO is the latest 3D Mario, right? There's no other 3D title that came out after this, I believe. So, everybody knows Mario comes in 2D, he comes in 3D. Everybody has their own preference. I like them all, but if I had to prefer any of them, I would say the 3D ones, just because I grew up on Super Mario 64. Like, that was my first Mario game actually ever, I think. Besides maybe like vivid memories of me playing like the NES Mario, but that's like I was super young for that, so I don't really remember it. But the first one I really remember actually playing and getting into was Super Mario 64. So these 3D Marios and the platformers in general always just kind of held a special place in my heart just because that's what I knew ever since I could remember games. You know what I mean? So I prefer the 3D Marios. I know a lot of people prefer the 2D Marios. I don't like a lot of them because they kind of start to blend together for me after a while. You know what I mean? Like the new 3D Mario, the Wii one, Super Mario Wonder, like they all just kind of do the same exact thing. I haven't really played any of the newer 2D ones, but I do like the classic ones, like Super Mario World is one of my favorites. I like Yoshi's Island, all that sorts of stuff. But yeah, man, I've played, let's just go through my resume, man. I've played through Mario 64 multiple times. I played through Sunshine a bunch. I've never actually beat Sunshine, I don't think. I don't remember beating it just because I was so young when I played it, but I do want to go back and revisit that for the podcast as well. Mario Sunshine, that's a really good one. I've played through the first Galaxy. I have not touched Galaxy 2, so that's another one I haven't played. And then I've, just beaten Odyssey recently for the first time. Oh, voice crack. Oh, fuck, dude. I'm trying to be a man here. But yeah, Smo is the latest one, man. And I really did. It's a fucking great game, man. It really is. Above all else, Smo really promotes exploration more than the other 3D Mario titles because think of back to like Mario 64 and Sunshine, right? I don't know how Galaxy is, but Mario 64, you jump into the paintings, and then there's like a line of missions of you do, and you get 1 star, you come back out. Sunshine's kind of the same thing, where you kind of just do a mission, you get the little shine, you come back out. But Smo Odyssey is really just different in the sense where you're kind of just thrown into the kingdom or the world, and then you just get all the moons one by one. You're not kicked out, so they kind of really put exploration as the forefront of this game, which is kind of a nice change of pace. I think back to like 64 and how it worked. It really worked in that sense, like, coming back out, jumping back in. It's just a lot different from being able to just openly enjoy the world without, if you accidentally get a star, then you're going to get thrown back into Peach's castle or something like that. And then there's also the purple coins, which you want to grind because you can get souvenirs for the Odyssey, more outfits, or kingdom-specific outfits. And that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to just the amount of content that's in this game. I mean, guys, I know I'm familiar with Super Mario 64. That's the one I've played the most. There's only 120 stars you can get. So it's, it's pretty long, but it's not that long, especially because it's really, really old too. So it can go kind of fast, but dude, there's 880 unique power moons in this game. So that's like 8 times the amount of fucking stars that you can get, which is just insane. So you're here for a long time if you want to get like 100% completion, right? There's just so much to do in this game. It's actually just kind of insane. It's a little overwhelming too at first, like, because you can look through the power moon list in the main menu and there's just a list of just everything you have to get, and it's just. And then that's not even counting, like, once you beat Bowser at the end of the game, then a whole nother set of moons gets unlocked. So it really just keeps you coming back. It's kind of insane. As far as Mario games go, this one doesn't stray too much from the path of, what they always do. It's got the same classic storyline they all have involving Peach, Bowser, and Mario, except in this one, there's a couple hats that tag along. Like Cappy is your companion. And I love that he talks to you, by the way, throughout the game. I think that's cool that like his little silhouette comes up and he just says stuff to you throughout the whole game. I don't know. It's not something I really thought I would like that much. But yeah, Bowser wants to marry Peach. He keeps running away with her. Classic Mario formula. The only thing this game really does different from the rest of the series is the capture mechanic. So as Cappy, you can throw him on all sorts of different enemies and become them, right? And then it's how you navigate the levels. It's how you get certain moons. It's how you get through certain parts of the game. You have to have these captures to, you capture a frog to jump higher. You capture, the charging Chuck to charge through a bunch of enemies. You capture the dry bones to fly through the lava sections. And it's really just cool because I really found myself just wondering what the rest of the captures were going to be throughout the rest of the game. And you even capture Bowser at one point. You capture Yoshi at the end of the game, which was very, very cool. So yeah, we're going to talk about all the kingdoms. I'm not going to talk about them in order. I'm going to talk about them in worst to best fashion because, this is a Watch Mojo video. So welcome to Watch Mojo. We are ranking the kingdoms in Mario Odyssey from worst to best. I mean, I don't even know what it's turning into at this point, but yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's rank all the kingdoms, man. I do want to talk about them all. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't really consider these first two kingdoms at all. They're kind of just add-on kingdoms, I would say. I don't really know what to classify them as, but the first one we have is the dark side of the moon. So what this is essentially just a boss rush at the end of the game. I don't really care for this kingdom all that much. It's just a little extra to the moon kingdom, I would say. It could have been all clumped into one. I don't really see the point in making this a separate kind of kingdom here. Which, I mean, I guess I have to in turn talk about the Brutals as well. The Brutals are the rabbit bosses of this game. I really don't like these guys. I think they're kind of lame. I don't really think they're that innovative or inventive or anything like that. They're kind of just easy little bunny guys that you have to jump on their head 3 times each. They all kind of do a different sort of thing, right? Like there's one where he spins his hats around the ring. There's one that has like a razor hat. The little girl one has like bombs you have to throw back at her. I don't know. They're really easy. I don't really care for them. So that's why the darker moon is going to go at the very, very bottom here. Because like I mentioned before, it's just a boss rush, which I don't really care for in the first place. I don't really want to replay all the bosses I already went through. I'm just not a big fan of that type of game mode in general, especially when the bosses are like these guys and they're just not that fun to begin with. Next up is the darker side of the moon, which is essentially just one giant long platform experience, which, again, it could have been added onto the Moon Kingdom. It doesn't really serve its own kind of purpose. It's like one long-winded last hard challenge for the game, which I do like, but it's just undeserving of its own kingdom. So I really don't have to go on that long about it. These next two kingdoms are what I consider kind of kingdoms, right? They're kind of like they're there. There's a couple moons on them, but they don't really serve a huge purpose in the game in general. First up, we have the Cloud Kingdom, which is essentially just what it sounds like. It's essentially just a couple platforms in the sky of clouds. It's really nothing to write home about. I think Bowser just kind of knocks you off your trail and you end up here. You get a few moons to power the Odyssey back up, and then you're well on your way. Pretty worthless. And then right after that, we have the Ruined Kingdom, which is a little better because the dragon boss fight is actually very cool. It's not very hard, but I like the effects, like the visual effects on it. And the way the dragon looks is just amazing. Like, I kind of wish he would fly around and do a little more as far as a boss fight goes. He kind of just hangs out on a platform and you kind of just, kill him as his head lays there. But he's still very well designed and cool. I love the way he looks. Very, very badass. All right, now we're moving on to what I consider actual real kingdoms. They could be huge, they could be small, but there's enough in them to consider it a quote unquote kingdom, or like a full-size map rather. So starting off with these, my least favorite of the actual kingdoms that we got to give it to the Luncheon Kingdom. It's like the food kingdom, right? It's got the purple goo that you can die in all around the map. It's got the giant stew pot on top of the map. The boss fight is the giant, bird or whatever, and you have to use the lava guy to kind of get up to him and hit him on the head. I don't really like it that much. I don't think the boss is that interesting. I don't really think the whole landscape of this is that interesting. Plus, the purple goo mechanic is just frustrating to me. I think it's kind of annoying. I just don't really like this. This kingdom just doesn't really appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. So that's why it's at the very bottom. Moving on to the next kingdom, we have the Moon Kingdom, which this one, for being like the second to last kingdom, you'd think it'd be a little bigger and you'd think it'd be a little more filled. Well, I guess it's the moon, right? So it can't really have that much stuff on it, I guess. But for some reason, the wedding church is on the fucking moon for some reason. I have no idea why. But it's just, a big, barren, empty space. I'm not a fan. I don't know. It's kind of boring. The Bowser boss at the end is pretty good. I do like the Bowser boss fight. I would say it's a pretty decent final boss. It took me a couple tries to do, but overall, the Moon Kingdom, a little lackluster. There's no good soundtrack. Like, the most memorable thing about the Moon Kingdom is definitely the church boss fight, but besides that, I would say it's like the Victory Road-esque thing. The little path you got to take from the bottom to get to the top. It's like all lava. You have to use the dry bones and the charging chuck and the bullet bills and whatnot. That's pretty much it. As far as the moon's surface goes, yeah, it's just really bland and forgettable. The next kingdom on my list is the Starting Kingdom, which is the Cap Kingdom, which is, where Cappy's from. And I can't remember the other one, Tiara. I cannot remember the girl of Cap's name, but Yeah, if this was anywhere else, like if this was not the first kingdom and you travel to it later in the game, it would definitely be at the bottom. But because it's the starting kingdom, I think we can cut it a little slack. It's not the biggest, it's not that exciting, but it does start you off in the game. It's got a couple good captures. You know, you get the frog in this kingdom, you get the flying Goomba. It has pretty good music in this kingdom as well. But that's really all I can say about this. You know, the Cap Kingdom, it's very bland. It's very it's the starting kingdom, not much to it, so we're just gonna move on. And the Lost Kingdom is next. It has a similar color palette to the Luncheon Kingdom, except it's like darker. This one's pretty small too. I think it might even be smaller than a Cap Kingdom. It's basically just in like a random tropical island. It's got the purple goo all around, so you can die very easily. It's got these little interesting slinky, I want to call them slinky, like little caterpillar guys that you can like extend like an accordion that make for some interesting mechanics. Overall, I'm just not a fan of this kingdom. I think it's really, really ugly and just not very memorable overall. You know, I got all the coins in this kingdom really quick. I got all the moons in this kingdom really quick, and I just pretty much moved past it. Like, it's just nothing. There's just not really much here, man. It's lost. Next on the list is the Cascade Kingdom. This is the second kingdom that you visit. It's like the prehistoric one. It's got the T-Rex in it. Very memorable, very cool. I actually really like this one a lot. It's a good second kingdom. It's not massive by any means, but, you know, the T-Rex parts are really cool. I think capturing the chain chomps and their mechanics are really fun. Like how you have to pull them at the very most of their chain and then let them go, and they kind of just fling the other direction to open walls up and stuff is very fun. We get the first boss fight on this map. The big Bertha bunny with the huge tits has the chain chomps, and, you know, you have to fling them back at her. I think... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time we see the 2D mechanics as well. I can't remember if they're in a Cap Kingdom, so correct me if I'm wrong, but we see, you know, that this is a huge part of the game. It goes throughout the game, and I think it's still one of the most brilliant things ever. They take literally the 2D Mario, like the original NES ones, and they put in segments of that where you have to platform to get to one spot to another, where you have to climb the cliff with it. And it's like so cool. I love that. They turn the music all 8-bit. The hidden moons that are in there, they have like an 8-bit sound when you collect them too. I just think they've really cooked with this mechanic. I think this is so genius. It's just such a nice homage to the older games. Just really brilliant. Just to see the roots of like the first Mario and then the newest Mario at this time, right? I'm sure there's a newer one now. Well, of course there is, but it's just so cool to see that, man. It was really, really, really well designed, in my opinion. Moving on to the next kingdom, we have the Sand Kingdom here. Now, this one, I really didn't like it the first time. It seems like it's really open and there's not a lot of stuff to do on it. But I was actually very wrong coming back to this the second time around. I think the Sand Kingdom's one of the stronger ones. It's huge. It might even be the biggest kingdom in the game. It probably is. As far as like the overworld goes, you know what I mean? Because a lot of kingdoms, you know, have that kind of the underground sections, and they have a lot of like, you know, green tube sections you have to go through and do. But the overworld on the Sand Kingdom, it looks barren and empty. But yeah, this time around, you know, you got the little what is it called? The Jaxie, the Tack Jax. What the fuck is it called? It's like the little Sphinx guy that helps you run around the desert really fast, and you got to use him to get a couple moons and whatnot. You use the bullet bills to get around the giant middle structure. There's like the big cylinder 2D section, right, which is pretty fun to go through. But yeah, overall, you know, the boss of the Sand Kingdom, it kind of reminds me of the Sand Kingdom. That's what dude, I'm going to be comparing it to Mario 64, but like the Sand Kingdom boss in Mario 64, like the pyramid with the hands, like, yeah, it's kind of similar to that, except it's more of like a statue in this game. I don't know. There was just a lot more mystery in Mario 64's boss, and you could like enter the pyramids, and there was like, you know, the guys with the bottoms out, and you had to walk on the metal thing. I know I'm really fucking terrible at describing this holy shit, but yeah, that's just one thing I miss. I mean, I do like the boss. I like the boss fight in the Sand Kingdom. How you hurt his hands and then you use his hands to punch his face. It's actually pretty funny. But yeah, overall the Sand Kingdom, pretty solid, man. Can't really complain about it. Moving on to a new biome here, we have the Wooded Kingdom next. Now, the Wooded Kingdom is an interesting one. It's definitely one of my favorite soundtracks in the game, by the way. I don't know why. I just really, really enjoy the Wooded Kingdom sound. It's very nice. I really like the locals of the Wooded Kingdom in their like kind of storyline. You know, I always love the idea. I was always fascinated by the idea of like robots wanting to protect like natural life or human life. I'm kind of trying to figure out the word for it right now, but one of my favorite games of all time, Nier Automata, kind of shares a big piece of that as well. Like the robots love, they just want to protect the wildlife, and I think that's really brilliant. It's like it shows this awesome side to like machines that don't really ever, it's never really showed it ever, and I don't know, I love that shit. It really speaks to me for some reason. This kingdom has one of my favorite captures in it. The little guy, I have no idea what they're called, by the way, but they're like the little green grass guys that grow their legs and like extend upwards to solve certain puzzles and get certain moons and whatnot. I don't know. They're just very fun to use. This kingdom has the start of the flower platforms, right? You press the little P button, and then a bridge extends made of flowers, and it kind of goes away behind you. So you just got to keep a nice pace while you're crossing it. It's really, really hard to like run out of time on these, by the way. And then the boss isn't that bad. It's like this little machine that you have to, extend into a couple times. But overall, decent kingdom. Not my favorite. Not my most hated. We're moving from the woods to the lake now. Next on my list is the Lake Kingdom, which is the first swimming kingdom in the game. It kind of gets you introduced to the swimming mechanics, the fish mechanics. I like the fish captures, by the way. They move really, really nicely. The way Mario swims, it's not ideal. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst the series has ever seen. Especially because you could do the little dash dive and make yourself go forward a lot, which is very convenient. The Lake Kingdom, it's one of the smaller ones in the game. I don't think it's it might be the smallest actually, besides like, the non-kingdoms, but it's still very fun. I like the mermaid. I like the population of the mermaids. They're very fun. I think the zippers on the wall that you have to open up with Cappy are very cool. I think the design of the pink moon it just looks nice. I don't know why. That just kind of caught my eye. I believe this is the first time we see the Lakitu guy with the fishing pole, right? Where you have to start fishing. No, that was in the Sand Kingdom, actually. Never mind. Overall, not too much to talk about with this kingdom. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. I really do enjoy it a lot. So it's deserving its rightful spot here, okay? With all that being said, we're moving from the lake to the snow now. The Snow Kingdom is next on my list here. And I like this one because it kind of has like two overworlds, quote unquote. It's got like the snow overworld with the wind guys that blow you around, and there's a lot of moons to get in there. And then there's also the village you can go down to through the middle of the map, right? And it's got like the bound races, which were pretty interesting. The second one was actually a lot harder. I kind of struggled with it a lot. But the bound races, the little polar bear, what do you call them? Polar bears? I don't know. They're not really polar bears. They're like super round. I guess they would mostly resemble polar bears to me. But you take control of one that's like scared and nervous to race. And it's funny because you end up winning the race with him. And he's like, wait, I'm the champion? Because he doesn't, like, I guess when Cappy possesses someone or something, they just lose all memory of what just happened. So he's like, what? I'm the king? I'm the winner? What the fuck? But yeah, it was really funny. The bound races, it was a cool change of pace. I really enjoyed them. We're moving from snow back to water. Next kingdom on my list, clearing the top 4, is the Seaside Kingdom. Now, if you told me when I started playing this game, one of the water worlds were going to be one of my favorites, I would have called you a liar, because normally ocean parts or swimming parts and they're just normally not it in games. They're just normally unfun, but I really enjoyed the Seaside Kingdom. I like the purple guys that you can capture that, they spray water and let you go upwards and sideways. I can't remember what they're called. I can't remember what any of these fucking enemies are called anyways, besides like the Goombas, right? But I really enjoyed their mechanics. I like the boss fight in this, the squid, how you kind of have to get the lava or whatever it is off the top of his head with that capture. I genuinely just liked swimming around as a fish in this map. The whole map is water. This one also has the volleyball. The volleyball 100 star was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. It only took me like a couple tries. Unlike the Metro Kingdom, which we'll get to a little later. But overall, yeah, not too much to say about this one. It's just a big, overall, expansive water play. It's like a water park. It's a playground. It's a water park. Is what it feels like. It's just a huge sandbox. I really like the green tube section in the middle of the map. There you kind of have to swim under it, and then there's like a certain puzzle you have to do to get the moon. I thought that was really fun. But anyways, yeah, we're moving on to the top 3 now. Now, top 3. This one should have been number 1, but there's a few things that hold it back. But the number 3 spot for my most favorite kingdom in the game has to be the Mushroom Kingdom. That's right, man. I was very surprised when we got to this kingdom, dude. This is literally Super Mario 64, Peach's Castle. Like, that's fucking kick ass. It's got the big stained glass Peach mural on the castle. The castle looks exactly the same. The inside of it, there's just one small room, which isn't the best, but I did like the fact that you can look up at the light and get a moon for it. I actually didn't get a hint for that. I just remembered doing that from the first game because that's how you get the winged hat from the first game. Not first game, but Super Mario 64. But dude, that was kick ass. I love that, those old heads, us old heads out here got rewarded for trying to do like the winged hat thing. So I just thought that was fucking fantastic. Yoshi's on top of the castle, just like in the original game when you get all 120 stars. That was so cool. The only thing that holds this back and why it's not in my top 2 or 1 is because most of the moons are just reused boss fights. They're just slightly harder reused boss fights, which isn't innovative in any way. It should have been like a new Bowser fight. Dude, it should have been like the Bowser fights from 64 where you swing Bowser into the mines. That would have been so cool. And that's why I can't put it any higher, man. Like, I love the nostalgia of coming back to the Mushroom Kingdom. That was so cool. The fact that it's a bunch of reused boss fights kind of brings it down a couple notches for me. But also, I gotta glaze the Mario 64 costume, dude. This is the costume I put on for the rest of the game, and I did not change, unless I ran into a moon that needed me to change, of course. But still, dude, the Mario 64, he's all pixelated, but it's got the cappy eyes on the cap. It looks really nice. I fucking love and adore this kingdom. This right here felt like a love letter from Nintendo just to the longtime fans, man. They're like, you guys have stuck with us for a long time. We're going to bring you back to the fucking 64 era. And that was just so cool, man. I'm honestly getting a little choked up about it now for some reason. But dude, it was so fucking cool to see, man. Next up, taking the silver medal as my second favorite kingdom in the game is Bowser's Kingdom. I love the aesthetic of this. And the soundtrack, I know I said whatever I said earlier was my favorite. I think this is my favorite soundtrack in the game. It's really it gives off that vibe of wanting to push towards the end. Like, you're pushing towards the end, you're getting there, you're almost there. I love how you shoot to multiple different islands in the sky. I love how I just love the skybox. It's like this crazy storm happening around you. It just really feels like you're motivated to get to the end. I really like how Asian they went with the aesthetic on this kingdom. It's like, oh, samurai Asia. But no, seriously, it's just a very cool vibe we haven't really seen before. Mario gets like a samurai costume in this kingdom. It's very sick. We get introduced to like the new pecking capture. It's like this little bird thing with a big nose that you have to stick into walls and kind of like fling yourself to climb with them. The final boss of this map is literally just all of the bunny guys combined into like one robot, which I actually didn't mind. It was a little more harder than they normally are. You kind of just find a way to knock the boss down, and then you have to go up to them and ground pound each of their little windows that they look out of. Not too hard, but it's definitely a nice change of pace from like the normal jump on their head 3 times, and then sure, the boss fight's over. Overall, Bowser's Kingdom, I think it's very deserving of a second place spot. Just the whole vibe, like I said earlier, is so cool. Such a cool art design and art direction with this kingdom. Which leaves us with number 1. The best kingdom in the game, to me, it's got to go to the Metro Kingdom. It just has to go to the Metro Kingdom. I just love this kingdom so much. There's so much to do. There's skyscrapers to climb. There's underground sections to go to. There's a whole power plant underneath the city. There's a huge platforming section in like the City Hall Tower. The whole Donkey Kong festival at the end is so cool. I really like how it's literally just, the first Donkey Kong game where Mario first appears, right? And that's just, I thought that was very, very cool. I like riding the moped around the city. There's just a lot of fun moons on this map to get, I won't lie, though. I had so much trouble with the 100 jump rope, man. And I ended up doing that weird glitch that lets you bring the M or whatever letter it is over and under and just kind of sit under it. Because I think I got like 50 or 60 legitimately. And then I couldn't keep doing. It was like the last moon in the game I had to get to, so I was just getting really really frustrated. I just wanted to be done with it, so I did glitch it. Not my promise, not my most proud moment for sure, but it's a little dishonest, but I'm hoping you guys forgive me, okay? I'm hoping you forgive me. So that's going to do it for all my kingdom rankings. Let me know in the comments below how I did, okay? As far as the rest of the game goes, I don't really think there's that much more to talk about. It's just your traditional classic 3D Mario game, You go, you explore, you get moons. I've already said this. I don't know if I mentioned the fast travel system really quick, but I'll just hit on it really quick. I really, really like the fast travel system in this game because it really helps out in the larger kingdoms when you just don't want to go across the whole map. Basically, you see the little flags on the ground that are Bowser's logo. You run into them, turns into the Mario flag, and then voila, you have a waypoint you can teleport to. You just go on your map, click A, teleport to it, brings you right there. Very small load times, very, very good mechanic. And then one last thing I'll mention before I sign off here is I genuinely had no idea you could do this, but you can enter how you can enter the Odyssey and see all your souvenirs you've bought in and go to your closet and change your outfit or whatever. I had no idea you could do this up until like the very last moment of the game, but you can enter the Odyssey through the exhaust port. Like, how you enter the green tubes through the, just through crouching and then you get sucked up. Same thing with the exhaust, man. You can literally just go through the exhaust and end up in the Odyssey. It's kind of insane. And it's kind of weird because you enter it, you go down through the exhaust, and then you somehow fall through the ceiling, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Thought it was a little goofy, thought it was a little funny, so I thought I'd just mention it really quick. And with all that being said, guys, I think that's going to do it, man. Like, I think we're in 30 minutes deep here. I did not expect this episode to be this long, so thanks for sticking out with me. If you're listening this far ahead, and future Jerry, if you're listening, type in the comments what you're playing now, dude. I'm genuinely curious. But that's gonna do it, guys. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna do Retard of the Week anymore. I don't think I'm gonna do Game Report. Obviously, I gotta do Game Report. What have I been playing over the past couple weeks? It's been 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks since I've last dropped. What was the last episode? Animal Crossing? Yeah, so a couple weeks since Animal Crossing. What have I been playing since then? You already know the answer. I talk about it every week, man. Overwatch 2. Season 17 dropped in Overwatch 2, bringing Zenyatta, my main, to Stadium, which has been all I've been playing. I have like over 24 hours just on Zenyatta, which is kind of insane because this game mode it usually has a 10-minute queue time. So yeah, I've been playing it fucking a lot, man. I haven't even touched like roll queue or open queue or any of the other game modes. I've just been enjoying Stadium so much, man. It is so goddamn fun. Also, I haven't played it recently, but I was getting into Mortal Kombat 1 a little bit. I was playing a little bit of Mortal Kombat 1. I do like the game. I think the cameo system is interesting. I hope they don't go back to it for the next game. But yeah, I was craving playing a fighting game, so I re-downloaded that. I was having fun with it for a while. I was actually shitting on kids with Sub-Zero too, but I just don't like the art direction of that game, man. I miss when they were like ninjas and stuff. I don't know. The art direction of that game is just not my favorite. But the gameplay mechanics are actually very fun. But besides that, besides Mortal Kombat and Overwatch, I've been playing a little bit of Mario Golf Super Rush on the Switch as well. Just a little bit. I just started the Golf Adventure mode. I don't know if it's something I'm going to full see through and make an episode about because I don't really know how much you could talk about a Mario Golf episode, to be honest, but it's slightly fun. I'm just I have a bunch of Switch games that I've been meaning to play that I bought and just never played, so that's kind of what I'm doing now. I got Mario Odyssey done. I did Animal Crossing. I did Breath of the Wild. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to play next. I genuinely have no idea what the next episode is going to be. It might be Mario Golf. It might be something else, so look forward to whatever that is and whatever time it's going to come out. I don't think it'll come out for a while though, guys. So, or Jerry, whenever you're listening. So yeah, man, let me know if there's a game you want to see me talk about or whatever. Let it, send in the comments and I might consider it. But anyways, that's going to do it, guys. We're signing off now. Have a nice week. Have a nice weekend. Have a nice weekday. Oh, it's 4th of July as I'm recording this in the morning, by the way. So happy 4th of July. Anyways, don't forget to exercise, you fat piece of shit. Don't forget to drink water, you fat piece of shit. And always, as always, yeah. Take care. Goodbye. Peace.